Hello.
Hi. I'm not sure if Melissa let everybody know, but she has a wake tonight. She let me know. An unexpected death in the family. So he's not going to be here.
Right. That's too bad. And April, we don't know if she'll be.
April, yeah, she got an email through saying, yeah, everybody got that, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
So
we don't know. So, and
if Melody shows up, we have a quorum.
yes,
April and I didn't make much headway on the classification. Oh, Melody's here, so we have a quorum.
oh, good.
So we can just focus on prep for annual town meeting and seeing if we can persuade Peg to write the annual report.
Oh,
you've got lots of time to do it.
yeah. When I get back. So let's call this meeting to order.
Hi, Melody.
Hi there.
Hi, Melody.
Hi, Melody.
Okay, so I make a motion, we call the meeting to order.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. All right, done. Okay, Melody and Becky. Okay, so the jobs description thing, we're not ready for. What's happening with that, Becky?
Okay, so you guys approved the edits for the fire chief. So those that's going to go to the select board at their 6:15 meeting. And then they approve it.
Okay,
And then what the personnel board starts to confirm, we have a official process for a major hiring, like a department head. So I'll bring that to the next, to the next meeting. It's basically when it's a department head, we have similar representation, select board, finance committee, personnel board on the hiring committee, and hopefully somebody knowledgeable about fire. And I think we want to try to keep, I think it says to keep that committee to 5 people if possible, 7 if necessary. I know we had, I think 8 or 9 on one of the last police chief hirings about 3 years ago. And when it was that many people, it's really difficult. So I think going over 7 is tough, but the select board will put the committee together, but they'll take your recommendations on the structure of it. I should have had that for tonight. Oh, okay, so for that job description, you already voted the changes. That's going to select board. And where did we end up on our list of job descriptions we were going through? I think if we pick,
It's been a while. I have no idea.
a while.
yeah. I don't think we did equipment operators or librarian.
No, I think you're right about that. I'm looking for my notes. And I think that's right. Librarian, no, I think that's it. The equipment operator and collector. I
So at
believe.
this point,
Yeah,
do we have to have those done by a specific time?
No, but I'm just realizing it's the highway superintendent is the most pressing review because he's retiring in end of September. So we have plenty of time to do it, but you really want to, if we could get it done before June, so that when we start putting the process together in July, it'll be wrapped up. That would be great. So if we focused on him first and then and got him to also look over the equipment operators. I think that
okay.
that
That's
would
the
be,
plan.
Equipment up, but All right. So just 2 positions really, although it's 3 employees.
And then also the librarian will come into that as well.
Yeah, and then the next task would be the librarian and her assistant and the aides. There's 3 different positions. Would be the next goal.
Okay.
Aides and assistant. Okay.
All right.
Are we going to look over the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes, I was just going to suggest that. I got that out of order, or somehow we started talking.
I
So-
think it says it,
What, Becky?
yeah, just go ahead. I think,
I was going to say the only thing, Mike, can you get that? Sorry. The only thing George, these were great minutes. Thank you, and thank you for doing all the minutes. Much
Oh, you're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Well, don't always assume that they're great. I mean, please read them.
Oh, no,
Catch me.
no, I did. I always read them.
Okay,
And,
good.
and George, I even highlight some of this stuff. Anyway, number 2, approve the minutes of January. I think you meant January 28th, not January 20. I think January 22nd is a Sunday. I was looking it up. Can we check that out? Why did I think that?
Well, actually, can I go back and look at the calendar? Because I'm on the Shutesbury website. Oh, it doesn't have history.
Hold on.
January 22nd is a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
definitely
read
not.
that. So
But the 28th is a Friday.
And I think I might, hold on, I'll be back.
It might have been the 20th.
Well, actually, you know what?
I could look up the minutes. In the meeting.
February 28th. Oh, right, January.
January 28th, we did meet. It's a Monday. And then we had another meeting on the Tuesday. On March 1st, we had a meeting.
I didn't take minutes for that. March 1st was when,
That was the select board meeting. No,
Right.
yeah, that was the select
Yeah.
board meeting.
I didn't take minutes for that. Should I have? Because we could do them right now.
And I think you're,
Yeah, do we do it if do we need minutes?
I know that AJ is gonna just utilize the select boards. They have not, yes, I think Linda just sent me the March 1st ones,
Okay,
because I look.
Okay, I can do that. I'll make minutes for March 1st and send them to everybody once I have them done. I'll keep my eyes open for those minutes from select board.
well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
I
it.
just have to remember.
Well, hey, it gets
March
harder to remember, I'll tell you.
Yep, I'll
Doesn't get
remember.
easier. Okay, so that's the only thing I saw in there, and they were great other than that.
Okay, excellent. I make a motion that we approve the minutes as amended. The minutes of February 28th as amended.
So moved. Melody, what do you think? I can never hear Melody.
Oh, Chartier, aye.
Okay,
Arvanitis, aye.
okay, Ross, I. Okay, done.
Okay.
George, I'm sorry, I got confused. The January 22nd, what was the correct date for January minutes?
28th. I thought I heard somebody say.
28th.
That was a Monday.
No, the 28th is a Friday.
February 28th is, hold on.
No, January.
Well,
No, we're looking at February.
no,
Oh,
but the meeting, the
Um,
minutes that I approved here, let me
Number
go.
2. In
Let
the
me go-
minutes, say approve the minutes of January 22nd.
I would have had the date on the minutes. So let me just find the minutes.
so that is a Saturday, and
Did we meet in January? Oh, January 27th. I've got minutes.
Yeah,
What was the
that's a
27th?
Thursday. Oh, and it says personnel board.
yes, it is. It's not the 28th. It's the 27th. Can we do that?
Okay,
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you, Becky. The 27th.
done.
All right. Okay, good.
All right, no worries there.
Can I ask a question about minutes, Becky?
Sure.
Ours are not going, we need to get them to the clerk, correct? How
I
do
do that.
how do we do that?
I do that.
George just can email them to the town clerk.
Okay, would you mind doing that, George?
No, that's what I do. I do that after, in fact, as soon as our meeting's end, the first thing I do is take the minutes we approved, and I have a template, I just copy and paste my last one that I sent to
Well, thank you.
Grace and just say,
It always says minutes are not on record with the town clerk. It says that all the time.
Well, that's because some people post them on the, whatchamacallit, My Town Government site directly. And
Hmm.
I'm a little confused. I think for the most part, so if you go to the My Town Government site, if the minutes are being posted directly onto the shutesbury.org site, you won't see them.
Right,
They're
okay,
not posted, because we don't really make it, the town clerk posts on the website. She doesn't post on both.
well, just so that, George is sending them, so we
Yeah.
have to assume that they're getting their,
yeah, that's my understanding is that's what
Okay.
she's doing.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
She never,
There was a real backlog when Peg started, so there was some confusion.
yeah, and there were two I never got to her because they had to come out of executive session. I can go back and see if I can find them, because when I first came on the board, there were no minutes for that year or the year before. I don't know if you remember that.
And
We're
Ralph
trying-
was taking them.
Yeah, yes, right. And anyway, to make a long story short, when I started doing them, there were two meetings that I don't know if we ever came out of executive session on them. I sent her everything else. But anyway, I'll look for those and maybe try to get them to her.
Okay,
If
if you want to tell us what date they are,
I'll check
maybe-
that out. I'll check that out.
maybe I could ask Ralph if he has anything.
Okay. Well, it might have been when I was on the board. So, and I sent everything to her that I had. I mean, when I was doing what George is doing now, when I was taking the minutes, I did forward everything I could find from when George was doing it and the time that I was doing it that year. But there were a couple that I believe it was when I was taking them that were in executive session, and we never voted to come out of executive session on the subjects that were being discussed.
Yeah, so we'd have to set another executive session to review and approve those minutes.
Okay, I'll see if I can find them. I mean, it goes back a while. So
Well,
anyway,
even if you don't find them, if you find the date, I could send you, we likely have a video of it.
okay,
And you could reconstruct it. If it's executive session, it probably was pretty short,
mhm.
potentially.
I'll check that out. I'll check out the date.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on. What else was on our,
Preparation
Annual
for
town meeting.
annual town meeting. So after,
for annual town meeting? Yes, that is next. So what do we need to do to prepare? We've talked with the finance committee. So that is done.
so now you want to think about how to present the same information to town meeting.
Oh,
so basically we want to give the citizens a synopsis, a summary of what we did in the 12-month period. And in other words, what the finance committee does is we create our annual report before annual town meeting, and we use that to present the budget and talk about the town's financial picture. For the personnel board, isn't that what we would make a similar presentation about the things we did during the year? So I'm thinking the annual report and the annual town meeting really tie together,
Mhm.
because those are the two agenda items.
mhm.
But I'm thinking specifically because the market alignment will impact the budget. it would be good for the personnel board to present how they approach the project and the results. And, you know, just to support that it was a process, and so that people.
Part of our report, wouldn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it would be
here's
a
what we
bulk of the
did.
report.
Here's what we did, and we can just elaborate a little more in depth on the process we use to adjust the salary for 8 positions.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess part of it is making sure that people will be there to do the presenting and answer questions.
I plan to be there, so I will present if people can. I am not a great speech person. And George, you're sort of stuck between committees. I mean, but you're
Well,
our,
if you don't want to, I can. I don't mind. It doesn't matter.
I would rather if you're comfortable. I'm not necessarily really comfortable anymore.
I don't like talking in front of town meeting. I know people think I do. I don't.
I used to be much more comfortable in large groups. Something happens when you don't
No, it's fine.
think more about every word you're saying, and that holds you up. If I could explain that, if George, if you would be willing to do that, that would be great.
Yeah, so I came into the committee, I'm not sure when, I think close to the start of the year, right?
First, I think.
Yeah, okay. So I would just, Peg, if you don't mind making the report,
Okay.
and I'll just use that as my outline. Well, I'll use that to report to the town, and I'll make sure that I have the market alignment part fresh
Okay.
in my mind, so that I can just go right through that.
Okay.
And it's
Sounds
pretty simple.
And Peg or Melody, if you want to participate, George could do one part and you guys could do another part.
that sounds good.
Or if you want to do it all, that's, yeah, well, all right. Sorry.
I'm happy to jump in and take a little part. I don't want to do the whole thing.
I think honestly, when I see a lot of departments give speeches in a department like personnel, their reports to the town meeting, it's usually 5 minutes or less. It's usually pretty quick. So
Yeah.
I don't think this is one where we, like the finance committee, it's good to split it up, but I don't
Yeah.
think for this department.
Yeah.
Well, George, the only reason I think it might be just to show who, you know, there are other people, since that you're already on the finance committee, to
Right.
show other people. And so is Melody, but
And April may want to do part 2 as well. We'll see.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you put together the report and we can talk about it at our April meeting? And we can
Okay.
see how we can split it into pieces. We can delegate it,
Okay.
different
That's-
sections of it.
I don't get back till the 1st, so we're going out to Colorado and Arizona.
Nice to see the grandkids.
Yeah, our kids are out. We got 2 kids out of 3 out there, so.
So
When is our next meeting?
I think April 21st is what we had in the minutes from that we just approved. And then beyond that, we didn't have anything. But annual town meeting's May 21st.
Yes, so that gives some time. Hold on. Yep, I have the 21st down as well for April. So should we talk about another date? Or will we need another date? Probably in May.
Yeah, but I think we addressed it. We should be addressing annual town meeting at our April 21st meeting, no?
Yes, I agree.
Or okay.
That'll give me time when we get back because we're leaving soon, so.
Oh, okay. So you have time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like 6-7 weeks into
Yeah.
that meeting.
No, it's just that we're gonna, a block of time. Yeah, just 2 weeks we're gone. So that's fine. That works.
And if you send me an email, Peg, if you want any of the minutes, I
Okay,
can send you the minutes from any of our meetings that you can't find, because sometimes those are a good source of.
yeah, for sure. Okay,
So May,
before town meeting, which is the 21st, so what, May 12th or May 19th? Let's not do May 19th. How about May 12th? That's a Thursday. Does that work for people?
So far, so good.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, so let's go with Thursday, 6:30. Does that work time-wise for people?
Oh, yes, always.
Okay,
Can we say June 16th for June, and that'll be pretty much the fiscal year?
okay, I'm an if on that because one of my Colorado kids, my daughter is expecting a baby sometime around here. So, life will go on for the personnel committee. So I just don't know. I can't commit to that.
What day is that, George? The 12th,
Yeah, the third Thursday.
16th?
16th, I'm sorry, you're right, the 16th, May 12th was on my mind.
Okay, so we can block it in, and if Peg needs to change it, we'll change it.
Okay, I got it in a minute.
Or else just,
Yeah, because once I go out there, I don't know how long I'll be out there.
I think
And I might
change
still
it,
be here. I might still be here, so who knows? The baby's due the 20th.
that's pretty
We'll
close.
go
Yeah.
with 6:30 again, 6:30 on the 16th.
you got
Okay.
quite a few of them, huh?
Quite a few of what?
Grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah, you just started, correct?
Yeah, we'll see how many more there are. I'm not counting. I'm not
We have
planning.
five now. Six on 5 with 6 on, number 6 on the way.
Ooh,
Also on the agenda for tonight was the wage schedule update. Has anything changed on that?
We're still slugging through it. We've got about 6 done out of 12. So we're almost half, I think we're halfway, almost halfway. So we'll hope to wrap it up at the April meeting to present. And actually with April away, Melissa said she would jump in and work with me because you really should have 2 people doing it. It's not a 1-person thing. And then when mine is reviewed, we'll need another person to work. So maybe, depending who's around, Melody or Peg or George, you can
Okay,
come in and help with that one.
okay.
And I see Paul has joined us. Paul Lyons.
He's muted. He can hear us. He's not saying anything. Hi, Paul.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Paul.
Florida.
Um, I didn't hear that last comment.
He said he's in Florida.
Oh. Well, April is in,
Puerto Rico.
yeah, Puerto Rico. Although we don't have her. She's in the mountains, so she didn't know how her connection would be. Do you have anything else? We went over the.
Yeah, I have one more thing.
Okay.
The police negotiations started back up, and I realized that Ralph had been the personnel board representative.
I think I was.
Are you now? Okay.
I think I was.
Oh, you were? I'm
Yeah, when
sorry.
we were meeting with Brian down in the West Springfield Union rep, and at the time it was Marcus.
Right, and so now Taylor has taken over, and George, we have a meeting coming up. I will send you all the information. I don't
All
have
right.
it right here. I apologize. So I will make sure you're at the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah,
And
make
I'll
sure I get the
update you
information.
on the meeting we did have. And send you the notes. There were a couple issues that and I can't talk about because it's union negotiations.
Okay,
But that's about to wrap up. And so if we get, I apologize, George, I had forgotten that you.
it's all right. No worries.
So George, you must have replaced Ralph. That must have happened, I think, because Melody is on the fire.
No,
No, I'm on-
Melody is on the police study
police
group.
study group.
Okay, but not negotiations. Okay.
No, I was on the police negotiation right from the start. And it started last summer and then it ended. We were waiting as of July 1st. Now that I remember, I have been on this committee for over a year,
Oh,
for a
well,
year.
then Ralph, Ralph was on something. He was on maybe the police study committee, for the,
No, that's Melody.
okay.
Well, maybe Ralph was, and I replaced him. Maybe that's how it worked. I thought I made all the meetings, because I remember when we were introduced to Brian, the
Yeah,
rep.
so you had to be, because Brian, this is his first time being in negotiations.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we were negotiating through June, and then we put it on hold because we're waiting for a bill regarding education at the state level. And then I forget why we ultimately stopped. I think because Marcus left.
Mhm.
Yeah, Marcus left, and it took the department a while to get settled and sort out who their union steward was. So I got them back, got them going again, and we had gotten pretty far before they stopped.
We did.
We
Yes.
were almost done, but the issues remaining were about regarding the Bridge Academy and how they would impact a couple of the issues. So that information is clear now, so we can wrap it up.
Can I ask, can you tell me more about that? About the, what has been decided on all that? Has that been decided?
You're talking about the Bridge Academy?
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Yes, we can talk about the Bridge Academy, sure. Kristen has given updates to the select board pretty regularly. So so in the past, there were two academies. There was a full-time academy, and it gets confusing because, but the part-time academy allowed people to come in and work in departments, and they could work, they couldn't work full-time, and that's part of the other issue. They could work up to 32 hours a week. But a lot of the small towns in Western Mass had part-time, we had part-time chiefs, part-time trained, people that ended up working as chiefs. And so there was this duplicity, and there's also like this hierarchy where the full-time trained officers were kind of superior to the part-time trained officers. And I think the part-time had 900 hours of training, and the full-time had 1,600 hours of training. I'm probably off, but that's the approximate numbers. So when the police reform bill came through post, the state looked at all of the officers throughout the whole state, and the legislature voted that all officers would have the same standard and level of training in Massachusetts. And to do that, they had to build a pathway for all the part-time officers to get full-time training. And when they did that, they discovered, they actually have taken over a lot of the responsibility for funding the academies. The bulk of the academy work is through online courses and webinars, and then in-person testing. There's, I think, 5 major areas that they have to go through. And then there's 2 hands-on trainings that can't be done in a classroom, that had to be done in person. And that was the defense training, like protecting yourself and, fighting people or evasive moves, all that kind of thing. And Kristen and Taylor have both been going through that training this year. What happened is, to manage, I think it's over 5,000 part-timers, part-time police officers in the state, they had to break it into groups so they could handle that amount of people. So the first groups was like A to H, and then I to P, and then the rest.
I get it.
And each group is given a different year. So Kristen Burgess, being a B, had to do it this year, and Taylor was Taylor Boudry, so she had to do it this year. we have Nate Massey in the department, and he's scheduled to do his academy training starting July 1. The tough thing on the first group is the legislature didn't finish all their, determinations of how things would work till
Right.
October. And so I think the classes started in October, middle of October or so, and into November. So they have a shorter time period to do all the work they have to do, because it's pretty intensive. It's hours and hours of work. Last week, a week ago this week, both Kristen and Taylor went to what they call EVOC training, which is evasive vehicle maneuvers. They all went to this Air Force base, and they set up tracks everywhere, and they have to do all these timed maneuvers. And like part of it Kristen described was going through a maze backwards in your vehicle and doing 3-point turns, and it just
Wow.
very intense. It sounded like she was in a movie part of the time.
They water down the track too in spots, and they also work on your wet driving maneuvers.
Yep. And and if you knock over cones, you get counted, so you lose points. And so
I
both
actually-
of them did extremely well. So that was great. And so that's what's been going on besides maintaining full service and responding to people. It's been a huge task. And to have the police study group on top of that, it's been, a very demanding time for our police officers. But it's
two questions.
sure.
So Nate, Taylor, Kristen, did they hire Tara?
Tara will be on the select board agenda on the 15th.
Oh, she wasn't on this last one. Oh, I thought
No.
she was on the last one.
Yeah, I think Rita wanted, it was pretty quick after her interview and time for the agendas to get, the resume to get around and stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay, for the rest of the board to review it.
Yeah.
And are there any other officers besides those three that are currently on our payroll?
Yes, we still have Zach Warner. Zach we don't think he's gonna be able to stay too much past May, but Zach has worked in New Salem for a couple of years, and also another Leiden. He was an officer in Leiden, and he has applied to be on, I think, the Ludlow Police Department, because that's
Oh.
closer to home for him.
Oh, okay. So
But
there's a
he's-
chance we lose him.
He's experienced. He is on track to do, he's a W, so he doesn't do his until the third year, his Bridge Academy. But
Yep.
he has been, he's a very competent officer with experience, and he and Nate filled in when Kristen and Taylor were at training 2 weeks ago. So they're both very solid.
Yeah, my observation is we've had high turnover in the police department. And,
Yeah.
looking back 7 to 10 years, and I'm just hoping that we can settle down. It looks like, the acting chief, she's great. And Nate, talking to Nate, loves working here. He thinks Shutesbury is the right place to work for him, and he likes working for Kristen. So that was all really good. And Tara seems like a good fit. So I don't know Taylor, but that's encouraging. How close is that study committee to wrapping up their work?
Good question. That's what
Topic last night, right,
That
Becky?
was, Melody, did you want to answer that?
I was just gonna say, interesting topic last night, right, Becky?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I don't know. It almost ended last night. I don't know. But no, the select board would have to dissolve it. It's up. There is some disagreement on the committee. Some feel that we have barely scratched the surface, but it's just, I would say one person who really feels there's a ton of more work to do. I think there's been so much work done. There could always be more exploration. But the reporting back, one of the projects that was being reported on last night was the interviews with the police department. And then the public had also spoke up a lot last night, encouraging the select board to make a decision about the chief and help solidify the department. I think what the interviews and other comments and that have been coming, it's because the committee that was supposed to take about 3 months is going, like 9 months, or I'm not sure, 6 or 9 months. It's created great uncertainty for the police department. And I think that was never the intention. And originally their decision to explore these kind of issues at that time was because we were between chiefs, because Dan resigned. And I think the issue is that because Kristen has really taken a hold and been, she's an acting chief, but her level of responsibility and her effectiveness is tremendous. And it feels like we're just questioning why she, so to have this ongoing committee that's exploring all these different issues, it's
We run the
tough.
risk of that turnover continuing. If we
Right.
keep it in the can, this is,
Right.
so how about the possibility, well, I'm hoping the select board will decide to make decisions for FY23 and put those in place. No reason why the committee can't continue to meet and talk about things and work on things, and a regionalization is a conversation. That's going to take years to make happen, even if we thought that was good, just as an example. So if they want to continue to meet, that's fine, but
Well, I think there,
we have
but
a police
it's,
department.
I think that the issue, there's a lot of good work is done and a lot of information, but realistically, if any kind of change in model is really based on opportunity. And so it depends what opportunities actually exist. Like, for example, if there is an opportunity with New Salem, that opportunity really does require having a chief in place. So if you don't have your chief in place, it's really hard to talk about your, taking on another town or sharing your chief with another town. And I don't, so I'm just saying that you don't necessarily have to have that kind of committee to actually do those things like regionalize or have a shared chief, because those are usually negotiated by the select board or an established committee for exactly that purpose with an identified partner. And the work of this committee was just to identify all the possibilities, which they, to a large extent, have done most of that work. That's,
Well,
I'm sure Melody has a lot of ideas too, and it's a big issue.
It's a big issue that also has many other issues that get drawn in. And it goes from there, like tentacles that keep going out.
that sounds to me like the description of a committee that's never going to stop working. Sounds like they're going to continue.
There's
But-
yeah.
Or not. I don't know. What do you think?
When I
Mel?
hear about tentacles, I just hear there's all these issues that are going to have to be wrapped up.
I think that someone made the point last night that I think that there needs to be a separation of whether or not Kristen was going to be hired from that committee. I think there's some stress around that, and I think that they're two separate issues. I mean, there's definitely issues that need to be looked at, but I don't think that has to be tied up with the hiring or not hiring of Kristen. And I think you know, and I think that that was kind of being discussed last night. But the other issue is that I think there's a lot of, shall we say, feisty personalities on that committee. And it just, you know, unfortunately, you know, well, fortunately or unfortunately, we're all people. And so that also adds to it.
Yeah,
Wow.
the meetings have been challenging
Wow.
for the participants.
Well, do keep us apprised on what the select board decides.
Yeah.
Sure.
It has been a
Thank you.
long haul. I just remember it seems like quite a while, even longer than 9 months. It seems to me that,
I think we're like, I think we just rounded a year, to be honest. I think we started in February of last year.
Well,
Wow.
the charge, the original draft of the charge it was written a year in February. But it took, because of town meeting and everything, the committee didn't really get active until July, I think.
You're right,
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sticking with it, Melody. Appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's not easy. I know that one's been contentious.
thank you, Melody. Well, is there anything else? We're sort of getting off our agenda here, but it was interesting to learn a little bit more about it because I know it's been ongoing for quite a while. Anything else on our agenda, or is there any new?
Well, I wanted to go back. I didn't, for the minutes, we talked about the wage classification agenda item. What, the answer on that, the discussion on that was that it's not, the information's not available to us yet.
Right, we're about halfway through.
And we're, okay, and that's the work that you and April are doing.
Yep.
Okay,
And with April gone for 2 weeks, I reported that Melissa volunteered that she'll try to jump in and help me to keep it going. And then hopefully when April's back, she'll jump back in. And we can hopefully have it wrapped up for the May meeting. I mean,
the May meeting.
the April meeting, but
Okay,
it could end up being May, but that would be good if we can at least nail it this year.
well, let's remember this committee, we change our meeting dates pretty frequently, so we'll see when it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're flexible.
Okay, anything else? Are we
No, I
good?
thought the meeting, I was pretty pleased about how our meeting went with the select board and the finance committee on Tuesday.
I
I mean, I
felt the same way.
happy with the result, but I think really for me, what was really reaffirming, I was really happy to hear Rita's comment at the very end.
Yes.
She said what we all know. And I was really happy to hear her reiterate that because there are people who don't think that we should be making these adjustments. And she made it very clear
Yeah.
why we should.
Good.
We went about it technically. We did what we should do without injecting our personal opinion. But, you know, she came out and said, I wouldn't even call it a personal opinion, but without bringing in anecdotal information, but she brought out anecdotal information that we all know is true. Basically saying that if we had to hire somebody to do these jobs in private industry, they would laugh at us.
Yeah, they
These
would.
jobs are way, way low, you know?
Yeah.
And we all know that's true. She didn't necessarily have the numbers to back it up, but we know it's true.
Mhm.
So I think it was just an important thing to hear, I think, for everybody in that meeting to hear.
True, very true. Who was on the finance committee? Who was not there? Didn't they say somebody was not there that?
It
Oh,
was
the chair.
Jim Walton.
Right, Jim Walton.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
been busy with work. Family business.
Okay.
His
his
mom
mother.
passed away.
Mm. Okay. Well, I thought there was another Jim and I couldn't.
Right.
There is another Jim.
Yeah, the Jim who was there.
Yeah, Jim Hemingway.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, is there any other business? No?
Nope.
So our next meeting then is going to be
April 21st.
April 21st.
Yep.
And I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
So moved. Overnight aside.
Ross- Melody, I can never hear Melody. She and I,
I heard her.
well, she
I
and I.
heard it too.
Yeah,
So-
it's hard when you don't show your face, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to do that lately, but
Well, that's okay. It's just that you and I seem to seem to go, I don't know, maybe it's just my computer and I'm not hearing you. I can hear Joe, I can hear everybody else fine, but maybe it's because your voice is softer.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, well, take care, everybody, and we'll see you in.
Have fun in Colorado.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, George, for the minutes, by the way.
You're welcome. No problem.
Very appreciated.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.